Right guys, thought I'd do a face video for a bit. I've got to admit I ain't got a gimbal or anything with us. I might have to get a new one. I was going to bring the drone, and I thought they've got football, so obviously I don't bring the drone, then the football's already finished. That's how we roll. But I just want to say, you guys, just appreciate everybody that stays on the channel, and I appreciate that some of you guys have been around for a long time. I mean, I try not to say people's names because some people don't like being named, not named as names, but just named. But I know some of you guys have been around since about 2007, which is a fair old trek. Guys, that's a very long time to actually know each other without actually knowing each other. But the journey of the whole channel has been about just getting on with life. I mean, going out to the Philippines for me, it offered a change of perspective, a change of life. But it does make it harder when you come back to this. Because in the Philippines, I like just going out on my motorbike and just disappearing. You know, just head down the road to wherever. It's weird here because, you know, there's lots of people I know that wouldn't ride a motorbike in the UK because it's too dangerous. Isn't it funny? I have no problem in a third world country or a developing nation. Although, to be fair, the way the UK is going, I think we're just going to be calling everybody just nations because the corruption seems to be on par with a lot of them now, which will destroy the economies eventually. Because, guys, we're missing natural resources over here. There used to be Britishness, but all that's been taken away from us as well because you're not allowed Britishness anymore. They've rewritten it. They've rewritten the UK values and nonsense. We don't have any decent fighting force either anymore. It's disappointing. But it doesn't mean give up. It just means invest the time in your kids, your neighbours' kids, your nephews, whoever, because the way it's going at the minute, things could get quite fragmented. I think fragmented because that's nice and open, isn't it, to what I'm talking about? Because we're on a collision course with change. I mean, there's been some stats come out this week that have showed that the immigration piece has only actually contributed, I think 5% of immigrants are contributing more than they're taking out the system. So that means 95% of the people that have come in are not contributing. They're taking more out. Now, I take this from two perspectives. Firstly, I don't blame people coming here. But let's face it, if you're getting unskilled workers for farming work or whatever, I'm sure they'd struggle to bloody pay their way, because let's face it, we don't pay them a lot of money. And then they get robbed blind by agents. Well, I'm sure there's still gangs going on as well. Then you've got the facts of the accommodation costs and all the other stuff that fleece them, because it happens to not just them, it happens with people in the NHS, because they keep trying to stop the agents from stealing money, but it's impossible. This is ingrained in the culture. And I've seen it in other countries where, for example, say I got a job somewhere and I was bringing 20 of my friends in, right, that I know from school, university, whatever. I'll take a cut of all their wages. And it's normal in some of these cultures. It's expected, it's normal. Now, for me, it's unethical. I just wouldn't do it. I like helping people out, but other people, they like ripping off each other. So, yeah, so a lot of the people are not bringing things to the table, and I'm not being funny, you can see it everywhere. The decline of society is just everywhere. I mean, I was quite proud of London before, but after being there in the last couple of years, it begins with S and finishes with O. It's not a nice place anymore. And then you got Sadiq going down his agenda, whatever he wants every week. So he just does what he wants. But I have to question how much of the properties around there are funding keeping him in from taxpayers' money. Because let's face it, if we got 95% of the population that are moving here as immigrants that are not contributing, how many of them are in London? Because like Farage, he's done quite well in Clacton, and as a lot of the people that he was, I've seen on interviews, they moved out of London because they couldn't afford it. And I've got to admit, I sit there and think, why would you be in London? Because the wages don't make any sense for the rent costs, unless it's subsidised. So there's something going on there anyway. It's not right. But main thing is, guys, we look after ourselves. There's better stuff out there. I mean, even here, I look in Northampton, the cost of housing. I don't know how much the average cost of a house here in the UK is now, what, $250,000 or whatever? And then you get offset from some hole up in the middle of nowhere, where it's like £30,000 for a house, to offset somebody's 80,000 to 300, well, more than that, £500,000 house upwards. So they sort of cancel out and bring the average down. I think in Northampton it must be at least 200k for the average house. So I look at it and I don't go 200k. I go 200k plus the interest, which they often, well, pretty much always stack on the front of the mortgage, and then divide that by the number of years it will take to pay it off. And that's the true cost of a house. That is the true cost. So when I look at Spain, I took a hammer in on the first, probably, 3 years. First 3 years. And I'm down to the last quarter of the mortgage in 3 years. That's the interest as well. So that's not bad going. And the renovations. And then at the moment we're looking at farms and stuff as well, because we want to buy a farm. So I'm looking at it for the kids. I'm looking at the fact of giving them some space. Because although we live on the coast, we've got the park, the nature park nearby. What I want is a bit of land, so my son, his mates, my wife, we get a little bit of land where we can grow some fruit, vegetables and stuff. Teach the kids some landcraft, but at the same time, the kids can fly the drones. They can, hunt rabbits, learn to use bow and arrows. Build stuff. Be kids. Because I remember when I was a kid, I mean, where I lived before was more like this. This is the sort of place I used to hang out, where it was just forest, a lot of forest. And you spend weeks in there, not at once, but like the whole of the summer holidays, where you just build stuff and do stuff, and nobody would bother you because it's just a woodland. There's nobody in there. There's nothing to break. I remember the smell of the wild garlic and just getting that piece of nature. It's really good. I mean, here's not very good because this guy here, this little lake, there's always flooding down in the woods. So when it gets flooded, it's like muddy for about a week or two. But I'll do some drone footage in there. But yeah, so I mean, for me, I'm thinking for the kids, and for me, myself, I've got some development ideas, and I'm trying to work with a few guys on seeing if I can get that moving. So I'm thinking of developing a retirement village type thing, but it's with the prefabricated houses. So the land will be leased. Yeah, I think it'd be more a case of you pay a monthly instalment for the land. The properties, we'll buy them in. But the whole point is I want to try and get it to a cost where the properties are reasonable cost. So you stay there till you retire. Well, till you pop your clogs. Because you just pay for the property up front, and then just the monthly land fees, which is to deal with the waste management and maybe put a community club or something in there. But I'm thinking somewhere between the cost of buying a house and a campsite somewhere in the middle, because I've seen it in like New Zealand and stuff, and I think they'll work quite well. And we were talking with a friend of ours recently about, because she's worried about her son. Her son's got autism, and in Spain there's not a lot of support once they hit adulthood. So after they're 16, 18, there isn't a lot there. So what happens when, because Zoe's got autism, and I've got to admit I'm banking money because I want to get an investment fund big enough so that I can make sure the kids are taken care of after I pop my clogs. But the point being is, what happens to the kids? What happens to them when they become adults? What happens when the parents are dead? That's something that's bothering me, and I think we could do something about it. Spain's got loads of land. I think there's an opportunity to develop it and create something of high value. May not be financially high value. I may end up putting a lot of effort in and get very little financial reward out of it. But if I could create a community that's self-sustainable and looks after the community itself, and a community that looks after itself, I think that's worth the risk. So I'm working on that. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not a bloody small thing. I've already worked out where to get the houses from, because the idea being it'll be prefabricated to simplify things and keep the costs down, but at the same time it'll be nice, low maintenance, and then you get something like me on site that can pretty much fix anything anyway. They get Igor in as well, so Igor does all the construction stuff. It's a doable plan. If I can get a mayor on board, I think we're there. But I'm thinking not only for Spain, but if we can get people from other places as well to settle in there, because one of the things that our friend was on about is a lot of the people are now heading to Bangladesh to the retirement because they can't afford to retire in Spain. Like I said, a lot of these kids that become adults with difficulties and stuff, there's limited support. So yeah, complicated life I have. Always looking for the bigger solutions. But we'll see. I mean, if you want to get involved in it, please get in touch, because I can't do it full time, and I want people that are passionate about this type of stuff. And if it takes off with a community set up, not only because the original thing is the retirement village, and the retirement village it's got to be self-funding in the sense of the people in it are paying their way. But this could be a bolt-on, or this could be something we can develop, where there's a trust developed or something long-term. So the first thing is get the village set up. So lots of thoughts in my head at the minute. And that's one of the things I want to say, guys, that's important. There's always other people out there with bigger problems than we have. And that's one of the drivers I've always had, because when I think about the stuff I've seen in the Philippines, when you're sitting complaining about things that are crap here, work's crap, we're getting ripped off by the government, blah blah blah, and then you spend time around people that are happy with absolutely nothing. They're robbed blind by their government. Their politicians only turn up on the voting time and sticking 500 pesos or whatever in their hands to go and vote for them, and having free beer and karaoke nights and stuff. At the same time, they have some really hard stuff going on. Own nothing. Oh my God, I'm sounding like Davos now. You will own nothing. Yeah, but a lot of these people have nothing financially. Financially nothing. Don't own a home. Just struggle to get through the day. And they're still bloody smiling. So yeah, we haven't got a lot to grumble about in that sense, but I also would say it doesn't mean we should accept that people can destroy it. We don't want to be back to those good old days. What are we going to have next? That we live on the landlord's farm, on their land, and then when their husband gets sick and dies, the landlord throws the entire family off the land. Are we going back to those days? No, thank you. And this is why a lot of this stuff is worth fighting for, to maintain the society we've got. But we actually have to have some hard truths that there's people in society that are just robbing us blind. Politicians, people that shouldn't be here. People talking about the overburdened NHS system, needing more money, need more money. My view is it needs to look at what it's actually doing. There's a lot of stuff that we're doing we shouldn't even be anywhere near. You know, we should actually be able to, my vote should be on how much money do I pay each month, and I should decide where it gets spent. Now, don't get me wrong, if 40% of that is automatically taken for keeping hospitals open or whatever, that's a given. But it's for, I don't know, breast enlargement or something, no. I'm not paying for that. I'm not paying for that. If it's for cancer treatment, yeah, I'll pay for that. We should be able to select where our money's going. Let's face it, you might think that's a bit mad. But remember, they split all the budgets up into the wards and everything, managing their own budgets. So they're already halfway there. What they need to do is disclose what they're doing, and we should get to choose how we spend our money. Because let's face it, when you do it initially, like I said, if it's automatically 40%, it's the electric, lights, rent, bang, that's a given. But then you start going, okay, do you want to pay towards, I don't know, the cancer ward? Okay, yeah. How much do you want to contribute? 15%. There you go, bang. Because you'll keep that ongoing, you see. So once it's sort of set up, you wouldn't expect to keep coming back round and coming back round and coming back round. Because your contributions should be set on where you want your money spent. And I know there'll be people out there going, well, that's not fair. This is fair. This is what we pay our taxes for. And it should be up to us what we spend our money on. I'm tired of people in my pocket. Don't know about you guys. But anyway, I'm not really ranting today. It's just an open conversation just to see how everybody else is going. I've had some feedback on some of the videos. I'll do more stuff on finance, and to be fair, I've spent yesterday fixing a broken laptop. When I say broken, the keyboard doesn't work. I've had to reformat it, reinstall Windows, and I've pretty much got a PC up and running at the minute, because I'm in Northampton, so all my computer gear is in the UK except for my Mac. As I said before, is stuck in this annoying loop, but I might be able to fix it now. I've got access to a PC that's working. We can but try. But yeah, anyway guys, I will leave it there, but hopefully I can do some better content. Now I've got a computer up and running.